Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our show's knowledgeable hosts and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Hello and welcome to episode 42. It's Down South Anomalies. What a week we have had, Aspasia.
We have had a week, yes.
My name's Jay Katz, of course, and we're part of the extraordinary Untold Radio Network.
That we are.
We are so happy to have you here. Episode 42 sits on the eve, the event horizon of some extraordinary interviews that we will just whisper are going to be astounding. So hold out there.
Yeah, hang on to your hats.
Yeah, hang on to them. One step beyond pop culture is predictive. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
But if we actually look back in hindsight, we may gain more clarity because way back in the 20th century, before the noise was attached to the signal Aspasia,
yes, Jamie,
things were a little clearer. Yep. Tonight it's Bigfoot's debut on television, 1959.
That's right.
But as every week, I have to tell you, we are broadcasting from stolen land.
Yep.
Give the voice to the Indigenous people, and they are part of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and we want to acknowledge and respect elders past, present, and emerging.
That's correct. Now, before we start anything, well, we've started.
We're starting with heavy hearts this week.
We are, but let's go with the Bigfoot name.
Yes.
Where it started, how it started.
That's a good idea, actually.
Because there was Yeti and Sasquatch.
Another like flying saucer was termed by a journalist, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was reported on by a journalist. So
who came up with Bigfoot?
Well, what happened was that in 1958, the Humboldt Times got a letter from some loggers in Northern California.
Jeff Crew, I believe.
Talking about, this these footprints. They didn't even. There was no talk of having seen anything. Just that these footprints were being left around the loggers' camps and around the machinery. Machinery was being moved around and stuff like that. And they wrote this letter to the Humboldt Times, and the reporter Andrew Genzoli.
Thank you for that. You finally
Genzoli
got
or
pronunciation
Genzoli.
right.
I think it's Genzoli. Yep. Anyway, he jokingly wrote a piece about it, and then, but they got such an amazing response from the readers that they did. He did subsequent stories on these footprints, with his fellow reporter Betty Allen.
Right,
and They wrote up about, a few different stories from different people and stuff. And they then reported that these loggers were calling this creature, these footprints, Bigfoot.
All right, the loggers were.
So the loggers were saying they were calling it Bigfoot because of the size of the prints.
Right.
And he reported on the name that these loggers had given, these footprints, and that's where the Bigfoot name stuck and
So you can go
came
online
out.
and actually find those newspaper articles.
You
I'd
can,
say. So
absolutely.
that's 1958.
1958, the
Right.
Humboldt Report, Humboldt Times, sorry.
Well, what we're concentrating on tonight is primarily one of the most groundbreaking anthology TV series that was not a drama.
No.
It was a docudrama.
Docudrama, yes.
Of course, all 96, is it 97? 98,
What?
99, they're unsure
What's that?
of the number of episodes over the 3
Oh, right,
seasons
yeah.
of John Newland's One Step Beyond. And we believe, and we will stand corrected if we're wrong,
Always.
that this is Bigfoot's TV
debut. Yeah.
in the episode The Night of the Kill.
Night of the Kill.
Which has become an extremely rare episode, but you can find it in some very poor
and
quality.
the Sacred Mushroom kind of don't get shown whenever
they were sort of removed from syndication,
which is weird.
I think the notion of an episode called A Night to Kill.
Well, yeah, Night to Kill.
But we're going down the track, and before we start this program tonight,
so why we're doing this too is because there's been a couple of notable deaths in the Bigfoot Sasquatch community.
And very sad deaths that go straight to the heart of Untold Radio.
Absolutely.
Jim Myers very closely associated with Scott Carpenter. I learned first about the extraordinary Scott Carpenter, only died a few days ago, through Sasquatch Outpost.
Yes.
Very close colleague of Jim's, very close colleague of David Pilates. And listen, the best tribute, I think, and the most heartfelt, David actually breaks down during it.
Yeah.
Is on Can-Am Project. Go up onto YouTube.
Can-Am is C-A-M, C-A-N, capital A-M.
Yeah, thank you.
Can-Am. That's Canadian-American, isn't it?
Of course it
Short
is.
for,
Can you put Scott's picture up, please?
Oh,
and
yes,
this is a photo that David was saying was one of his most favourite photos because it really showed who Scott was.
So young, wasn't he? How old was he?
In his early 50s. And Scott was a very gentle person.
Wow.
He was involved, what's become controversial, of course, in the DNA project with Melba Ketchum. That aside, and he was actually working on some incredible evidence in a new book. He's written at least 4 books. Here's one of them. Let's have a look at that.
Yeah.
But he will be extremely missed.
Yes.
He was a gentle, God-fearing, beautiful person, father, grandfather, an extraordinary soul, and everyone who ever spent time with him was just amazed.
Yeah.
Please go up and punch him into YouTube too, because his research site is really fascinating.
Yes, it is.
But he did cop a lot of criticism, like most people do in this field, because it's divided like everything else. And most of us should realize at times like this that shade is not the thing to be throwing around. We should just be concentrating on our research and what we're all trying to do here.
Yeah.
And people's perspective, it's all different for every single one of us. We've got our own reality.
I mean, we
tunnel.
all have, some people go with the woo because, that's what they're
where the
open
evidence
to.
led them.
Well, that's what they're open to. And then other people, go with the flesh and blood because that's what their evidence leads them to. That doesn't mean one's right and one's wrong.
Exactly. We spoke about the boggle factor.
We could all be right.
In 40 and Times,
that
great little couple of stanzas speaking about the boggle factor. And Robbie Graham, who we lost tragically.
Well, the world lost, actually.
The author of Silver Screen Sources and the editor of Reframing the Debate, two of the most important,
very important
ufological books ever written. And, the sad thing is we still really don't know because the family's so traumatized that, they haven't really released that much information. Not that we need to know the circumstances.
I do.
But we all need to be aware that life is a very fragile, transitory thing.
Yeah.
And thank heavens.
We still don't know after all these thousands of years.
For David Pilates' relationship with Scott Carpenter is that only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he spent an entire week with him in remote areas of the wilderness where they were searching for this anomalous creature. Yeah.
Okay.
We lost Peter Burns, who was well and truly in his 90s and is one of the grandfathers of Bigfoot.
Long life. Yeah.
Long life.
Interesting life.
We lost this other lady. Can we just go down to our vision here? I don't know much about her as well. And so I don't know how people see her, but I also think that there is family and loved ones out there. She was mother. And, we need to respect everyone.
Should I play it?
Yes, please.
daughters were about 10, 20 feet behind me. And as I turn around, I'm looking straight and I see the creature on that tree. So what I do is I continue walking closer to try to tell myself, am I seeing a shadow at tree stump? At that point, I see his head turn. So I know that I'm not looking at a shadow. And this is where I stop. And this is where everything pretty much happened. This is where my daughter videotaped from your angle to the tree right over here.
I swear to God. Mom?
I see it. Is it by the tree?
Yeah.
In the shoulder?
Yeah.
I want to go home now. Did it move?
Yes. Mom?
He weighed about 800 pounds. He had hair all over him, orangutan color. He also did not show his teeth, but he had black solid eyes. And this is where he was at. My daughter saw 2 of them running at this point, where we have a 13-inch print in this area, and they run back here with the big guy. So there was a total of 3 Sasquatches that day. At that point, he started rocking back and forth, and that's when I knew it was time for us to go. So, okay, so then this is where his body weight was on that limb right there. I didn't know my daughter was videotaping the creature as I was standing right here, face to face with him.
Well, thank you to that news group. Don't put that up that
I-
quickly. Just spoiled my little treat there.
Did I? Well,
Yeah.
nobody saw it. that
Oh,
quick.
come on. All right, now go back to that still, please.
Okay, sorry.
Gee
Oh,
whiz.
right, okay, I know what I
Aspasia,
did.
you're out of control.
You know, that's because you pushed me to go up to that, and I thought you said get rid of that, so I hit that, and it was the cartoon.
Do you see, ladies and gentlemen, what marriage
Do
can
you
to
see
you?
what I
There's
have to
always-
put up with
Yeah.
all the time?
And you see, we're talking about shade in the research community out there.
That's different towards each other.
We would like to dedicate this episode for what it's worth from afar,
yeah.
from Australia, where a lot of people don't really feel that we have that parallel homonym, but I'm
We
telling you,
do.
we do.
We
do, and it's
absolutely
the
do.
Yowie, and we have the little ones, we've got
And-
the big ones, we've got the whole
And
lot.
you know what? The thing is with Australia, that we are so influenced by American culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what happens in America is definitely, taking note of
Taking
here
heed
in Australia.
of.
We
of course.
absolutely.
So we want to throw our respect out there
Mhm.
to the people at Untold Radio that had very close relationships, especially with Scott and Peter Byrne. I don't know about Claudia, but anyone, family, friends, please, our heart is with you. And let's step back from the shade, get into the light, and just concentrate on what we all need to do to make sure that there is a counterpoint against the ridicule out there
Mhm.
in this society over, incidents that occur to people that affect their lives, the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
so personally, so totally,
Mhm.
and are so profound, and that show us that we need to take everything into consideration. Now, this is a very important cartoon in terms of explaining that to you all.
Okay. So it's-
Sometimes I just feel totally lost, like I can't find myself, or like I'm not even real.
So it's a Bigfoot on the couch.
Yeah, and
And
sort
a
of
psychiatrist. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
Now let's go to, this phenomena, of course, did not start in 1958.
No,
It
did
goes
not.
way back. Can you go to that
Absolutely.
next news story?
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
do. We can.
And this is quite an amazing news story.
So what year is this? Do you-
1907.
1907. Wild man startles people of Kentucky. Hairy creature seen by farmhand, and both are so scared that they prepare to run.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
And this is just us doing a little troll through what we imagine
Yeah.
pop culture to be. 1934.
Okay, huge hairy giant reported by Trio reviving legend.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an interesting
That's
case
in
as well.
Montreal.
Yeah, now let's
Yeah.
go to
Next one.
yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
True,
True.
the Man's Magazine.
I love the artwork for these
Oh,
men's
yeah.
magazines
They're
of that
amazing.
time. But
Actually,
then
we've got some compendiums of those.
yeah, and then
I
you've
love
got
them.
running off
They're
from the
fabulous.
Montreal thing, Canada's mysterious Sasquatch, man or monster. Now, the next one I really love, because I hope it's still there. We just don't know where it is. Can someone tell us where this is?
Bigfoot Drive-In Burger Pit.
Yeah, I need to go there.
What is it? Triple hot, thick
Shakes.
apple shakes.
Yeah.
Oh, hot apple
you're going
pie.
across.
Triple thick shakes.
Is that a Studebaker there in the
I
driveway?
don't know.
All right, let's keep moving.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
moving through.
move
So
down, get it prepared for the next
yeah, I
one.
am.
So we're looking at an article here from the early 60s Men magazines.
Mystery Giant.
And this is by the incredible Ivan Sanderson. So
Right. Yeah.
if you don't know about Ivan, check him out because he was a professional zoologist and
He
then
was.
went over to the other side with all of us. Let's go
Yeah.
on to the next one.
Yeah. Okay.
Face to face with the ape man monster of Tennessee. That's got a nice 60s charm to it.
It
From
does, doesn't
True
it?
magazine there.
Yeah.
But then it also hit all forms of pop culture. Here we go. Giant from Below, down in the cave system, eh?
Okay. Wow.
And what about the next one? Aspasia's Superboy. What are you
Oh,
doing? And
not
that's where we're starting to get the woo happening, flying saucers and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot together. Wow.
But
there
the
you
one I
go.
really love, starring Mr. Phelps from Mission Impossible,
Mm.
was Mysterious Monsters.
Oh,
And I
yes,
think
yeah.
this was funded from the Mormon-based church.
Sun
wasn't it?
Pictures?
Might
Sun
have
Classics?
been Sun Classics, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong there, but maybe it was.
Who
We've
knows?
got a
Yeah.
copy of that, not on 16mm. Let's go to the original poster, which is startlingly beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
I've still
Proof.
got the paperback book as well.
Yeah.
I love that. And of course, this one,
Oh, The Legend of Bigfoot. Yeah.
but it's not like the next one, which I just adore and everyone
Oh,
over
the
there
old Boggy
loves
Creek.
deeply. Yeah. And look, sorry about this, folks. For those listening on audio, we're going through a whole lot of one-sheeters, comic book covers and things here. So when you get a chance, if you have got a chance
Yeah.
on our
Absolutely have a peek at it,
extraordinary
'cause
impoverished
This
schedules.
art is actually quite beautiful. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay.
But what we're going to go to now,
Mhm.
and let's step in, one step beyond.
Yeah.
1959.
So this is
or,
before Twilight Zone and
9 or 10 months prior
Yeah,
to
prior
Twilight
to
Zone.
Twilight
this
Zone
was first
and,
broadcast. Twilight Zone Outer
and
Limits.
Outer Limits. Yes. Yeah.
But of course, things like science fiction theater,
That was
which
there.
had
Yeah.
a UFO crash in Roswell.
It did.
In 1956, had already gone to air.
Yep.
And so anthology series around this theme, but
Mhm.
really where this came from was somewhere unique. It actually stepped out of,
Where?
thank you.
There we go.
I don't want to have to tell you all the
No,
time.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, husband and
You
wife
love
night.
telling me
Us-
anyway.
no,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. This was an extension of the tradition of radio horror
Mm-hmm.
and supernatural dramas like Inner Sanctum
Yeah,
and things like that
yeah.
that had an incredible history on the fireside valve radio in the
Yes.
30s and 40s,
Mm-hmm.
and then stepped into the birth of early television.
Mm-hmm.
The amazing drama you're about to see is a matter of human record.
Yes.
You may believe it
Mm-hmm.
or you may not. But the real people who live this story, they believe it, they know.
Mm-hmm.
They took that one step beyond.
Yeah, right.
So 1959, there is, can you put that back up, please?
What?
That image.
Okay.
That is the beautiful face of John Newland there.
Yes.
And he was the host, just like Rod Serling, but also the director of every single episode.
Now, how many? I mean, I know that on One Step Beyond, on
Twilight Zone.
and The Outer Limits, that they were all different directors on episodes.
Well,
It
Stefano was really in there big time in the first series, especially as a writer.
for
in
every,
the
yeah,
first
but not
season.
he wasn't the director on every single episode.
No, of course
was
he wasn't.
No.
Neither was
So-
Leslie Stevens.
And even in the Twilight Zone, I know that Rod Serling wasn't the director on everything. It was a lot of different people were directing, different episodes.
That's right.
Right. So for someone to have directed all, however many episodes, I know they were in their 90s, 90 or so episodes, to have directed every single one of them.
It's quite
Man, he
astounding.
must have had a big pull in there. Was it his
It was
his
his
concept?
It was his
It was his
concept. It was
concept.
his baby.
Okay.
And the whole thing was
yeah.
that this is such an unusual series. I don't know if any other series on television has done this after or before.
Right.
It was all based on what was supposedly
Yeah.
collected and documented anomalous cases.
That's right.
Now, occasionally, urban legends, folklore, and myth would leak in there.
But
But
isn't that...
predominantly, it is based on news stories from the time.
Yeah, but, you know, urban legends, myths come from, you know,
Can
real...
we move down? No, not to the next slide. Can we just move down to... we'll get rid of that title card and we'll just
Okay.
move down to vision,
Okay.
please,
No
because we've got a
problem.
great little promo
We do
that
have a
may
great
explain
promo.
everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's pop that promo on and give the host, John Newland himself,
Yeah.
time to explain this series to everyone.
We had a rough time trying to decide which story to bring you first. That's how truly rich our source material is. Now, there were some members of our group who said, let's do the one about John Pellegrini's gallstones. Did you ever hear of Edgar Casey, the man who amazed the medical world 30,000 times by correctly diagnosing illnesses without the benefit of blood tests or x-rays or even laying a hand on the patient? As a matter of fact, in the case of Mr. Pellegrini, he and his troublesome gallstones were 15,000 miles away. Oh, there's one other thing you should know about Edgar Casey. He was a streetcar conductor. Now, how did he come by his supernatural power? Who knows? But he had it. Members of the American Medical Association say he had it. And then there was one stubborn fellow. And he said, you know what we ought to do? We ought to do the story of the beautiful girl and this portrait. Of course, this is not our girl. However, some years ago, a very famous English portrait painter, impelled by an overwhelming urge that he could neither understand nor control, suddenly discovered that he could paint only one thing over and over again. The face of a girl he had never seen in his entire life. His livelihood, his talent, his very sanity were almost destroyed. And then many years later, in a remote Sicilian village he had never read about or seen or heard about, he found the girl herself. But that's not all. In the background of his picture, he had painted an ancient church destroyed by earthquake 300 years before. Explain it? I wouldn't even try. But the material never ends. There are over 150,000 cases of such phenomena. And I assure you that somewhere, something unexplainable is happening to someone at this very moment. Hair-raising, romantic, dramatic, even humorous, like the Phi Beta Kappa student who had to flee his college and change his name because he couldn't stop dreaming the correct results of sporting events. Well, quite naturally, the bookies moved in. Then what about that family on Long Island, the Hermans? Do you suppose that their furniture is still flying through the air? There's even a story in this glass of water. Right now, living in Oslo, Norway, is a manicurist named Sigrid Hansen. Now, why should she interest us? Because for the last 11 years, Sigrid Hansen has remained in perfect health, eating nothing and drinking only this, plain, ordinary water. And more than that, she has developed extraordinary powers of extrasensory perception. So much for the samples. But about this startling new show as a whole, we say this: when ordinary people of our real world encounter the chilling world of the unknown, when normal men and women take that one step beyond, that we think is incomparable drama. All the more memorable and amazing because these strange adventures are true. Absolutely true.
Isn't that incredible? Real 14 television
I love
in
it.
the late
I love it.
50s. And that'll give you a little bit of an explanation. Now, you can go online tonight after this episode and watch any of those 96 episodes, search for them, but also we'll point you in a direction where you can actually get a really good quality copy. Amazon have got them up on a
They
4-disc set
Yeah.
at this stage. And the episode we're specifically talking about tonight is called Night of the Kill.
Yeah.
I believe it was
Killing. Yeah.
Night of the No, it's Night of the Kill. What are you doing?
What's that?
That's not. Please go back.
Oh, sorry. I went one. Sorry.
Gee whiz, I'm going to have to get someone else employed in here. I really am.
You're not paying me. Good luck.
Anyway, okay. Thanks for the Sasquatch archives for this.
Sorry.
So, Night of the Kill. So, lots of people in the States may be aware already of the power of this episode, but this episode really has everything in it you could imagine.
It does.
So early in the piece, 1959, as we said. Now, it was shot on the MGM lot, and the reason for that was to save money and take advantage of what, Aspasia?
What?
The massive costume department of MGM. What else would you want?
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Now, one of the things here, it shows you tracks in the episode. Let's go to the still of the track, even though we've ruined the surprise for people that haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And it is the 3-pronged track. But if you go down to the Bigfoot news here, you'll see that, we've got to take a few things into, consideration. Now, the other thing is let's show people where if they need the rare episodes DVD, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And you can order it today off Amazon.
Yeah.
And it
lost
contains
episodes.
that profound
clearly
episode.
they're not lost
No,
because
they're not
there.
lost. There's rare episodes, there's lost episodes, but ironically, none of them are that lost.
Yeah, you can find them. Yeah.
Supposedly, this entire 3 seasons, leave it there.
Yeah,
This entire 3 seasons is in public domain.
It is. Yeah.
But there's something to do with the title sequence. So you've got to exercise a little bit of caution. Check that out.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of actors appeared in this. William Shatner, Robert Blake, Joan Fontaine with Warren Beatty at the same time, Elizabeth Montgomery, and a plethora of others. Now, our host, John Newland, started to receive tons of fan mail, but even more hate mail, declaring him the devil himself for articulating these stories into the public domain and possibly putting a curse on the television viewer that related to the episode that people were seeing. I think people sometimes read too much into everything. Now we're going to
just the messenger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go and we're going to try, if we can, to give you this episode. As I said, it's not going to be the highest quality in comparison to what you'll find on this disc from a classic television series. As I said on Amazon, check it out. But let's see how we go and hope for the best. Let's hit on and watch the episode that is so extraordinary.
So this is a 22-minute episode, isn't it?
Yeah, you're going to have to click on there. Where are you?
I'm just turning that
Oh,
off.
okay.
Oh my
yes,
God.
it is. It's a television half hour.
All right, so hang in there.
We're going to hope it works.
Yeah.
You are on Down South Anomalies. It's episode 42. Sorry, it's late at night for us. It's a pre-record. We're a little tired, but we're trying our best, and the wife is out to kill me.
No, I'm not.
What is love?
All right, we're going.
Okay.
It has been reported as true by those to whom it happened. It has been
Mike is on you
investigated,
sniffling.
and no one, as yet, has been able to explain it or disprove it.
Man, you can't go on like this. And it's not going to help if something happens to you, too.
7-year-old boy, lost in the woods without food or water, survived. 2 days? 3? This is the morning of the 4th day since little David Mars disappeared from this farm. He's somewhere in those woods. For the last 3 days, over 150 neighbors and friends of the Morrises have been searching those woods in vain. And now, with all reasonable hope gone, most of them have returned to their own farms, to their own problems, leaving only a handful of bone-weary and heavy-hearted searchers to continue on, to find whatever is left for them to find.
Davy!
Davy! Davy!
Okay, so it's stopped. I don't know
Okay,
why it
let's
stopped.
remove that.
Hang on, let's see. No, it stopped.
Thank you. Let's remove it.
Okay. I hate these things when they do that.
No, that was
Anyway.
incredible.
All
Aspasia
right.
was then.
So
Well,
it is. Look,
that gives you a chance to go and look.
Go
You
and
can
have a look
actually
for
go
it.
and look
It
for
is
that
an
online.
amazing episode. So the premise is that little kid gets lost. Davy is lost.
Yes.
Parents are looking for him. They end up finding him on
3 days later.
3 days later. He's about 7 or 8 on a cliff, like on a ledge, really high up.
Are you going to spoil the whole episode?
Well, I don't know. Am I? I don't know. They can go and have a look. I mean, they can go and have
They
a look
find
at
him
it.
on a cliff face.
Yeah,
It's very missing 411.
Absolutely.
And
it's so
he
missing
says that a
411,
friend
it's not
of
funny.
his was helping him,
Yeah.
a big friend.
Yeah, a big friend. Anyway, the big friend turns out to be like this 16.
They're traumatized because the next day, Davy goes missing quickly again. But Davy was in the family's meat locker, the smokehouse. And he had allowed his big friend to have a smorgasbord in there, to have lunch in there.
Yeah.
And again, they're detecting what they believe is this noxious smell.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
So it has all the material,
All
and
the
evidence,
elements.
all the elements there.
Yeah,
It's quite astounding in that regard.
And then they actually find those prints that we showed you, those prints before.
Yes.
Right. And they cast them.
Yeah.
And they bring out a vet who says, look, I've never seen anything like this. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what's going on here.
And I think...
And they start to say that Davy's done it. The kid's making all this
And I
stuff.
think, well, we'll cut it there. Let's not
Yeah.
be a spoiler. We're really conscious of that with Colin and Cameron Cairns.
Definitely, if you want to go up on YouTube, Night of the Kill, One Step Beyond, and look at the episode yourself.
But I think one of the most important takeaways of this episode is that the child is fine.
The child has no problems with it.
The child is having what appears to be a reasonable relationship. And there is a correlation in some of the research that appears to occur. And as we know from the extensive work that David Pilates has done, and a few others, that sometimes children go missing and reappear in locations way to the distance is extraordinary. And none of it makes sense. And again, they narrate these stories of someone was assisting them out there, someone they can't truly explain in what we know as rational terms. But that's an incredible thing for that to have debuted on television at that time.
Absolutely.
And it's just like going back to the UFO, the true story of flying saucers, that if you actually step back into history and look at pop culture, and it's not so much it's predicting the future, this stuff is literally documenting what was happening at the time. But there is so little corruption and noise attached to that signal.
Exactly.
That you can see clearly that the main research aspects around this parallel hominid, no matter how you look at it, have remained the same. And so they're hearing these incredible noises, they're hearing these sounds, they can't believe it. But the other reaction is that the adults always seem to be
the
in
adults, it's
alarm,
like, let's grab our
catastrophe.
guns. We've got to go and kill this thing.
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I
Anyway.
didn't want to step that far.
Oh, well,
that's
know that's what the adults are going to do. I mean,
Okay.
crikeys.
All right.
You know, that
Now,
if they didn't, I'd be shocked.
okay. All right.
If they didn't want to kill it, I would be absolutely shocked.
Yeah, but that's not maybe the way we go approaching this. But
No,
anyway,
it shouldn't be
who
the
knows?
way we
Who
approach it.
knows?
But hey, anyway.
It's different strokes for different folks.
So that's,
Now, let's go to our next still there.
Yeah.
Aspasia.
Yes.
With the extraordinary Joseph Stefano and Leslie Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
The Outer Limits.
Yeah.
What a anthology series that was.
Yeah.
Now, there are some interesting aspects to this,
Some
but
very
I'm going
interesting
to
aspects.
start thinking about what's happening, especially out of Congress with
Oh,
our
yes. At the moment,
whistleblowers,
yep.
David Grush and
Mhm.
Ryan and our pilots and the stories that are coming out. That there is one episode, I think it is the third episode
It
of the
is.
first season,
Mhm, mhm.
The Architects of Fear. Can you go to the next still, please?
I can do that.
Stop nodding into oblivion there. But
I'm not.
now this starred the incredible Robert Culp,
Yeah,
and the premise of this episode
It's
is
wild.
unbelievable.
It's so wild.
Now let's go to one more still from this,
Yeah.
and then I'll get down to some footage. So look at, I love that
Mm.
still. Now we're not going to explain anything in this episode
No.
till we go to our next news piece. So let's
Okay.
go down to that.
Okay.
Okay, keep rolling.
Yep. Rolling.
Okay, let's
Yep.
go to just there.
Okay.
Get rid of the still.
Oh, there's still.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that is the premise.
That is the
of
premise.
the Architects of Fear.
Mhm.
And it's a group of scientists that were discussing how we ever going to resolve the differences of mankind
how are we all going to unite?
and stop fighting,
fighting each
other.
other. Yeah.
And have boundaries and borders.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
longer look at ourselves as separate landmasses,
Yeah,
continents,
yeah.
races,
Nations, different
identities,
nations.
but come together as
the
one.
people of Earth.
That's right.
Yeah, which
And
is
s-
what we all are.
And so
but,
what they
you know.
decide in this episode to
Mhm.
do is quite astounding.
So the guy who pulls the short straw.
Yeah, and it does happen to be Robert Culp.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
go
they turn him into that alien there.
And you know that alien was so scary. It was on the
It
screen for
was.
such a short amount of time,
But hey,
he ended up
really
being
effective.
banned in numerous states.
Really?
across
Scared people.
and they would put black screens up and
Wow.
not show it.
That's weird.
Yeah,
What
but I
was
reckon you
that?
can tell them the entire
I
premise
mean, I
of
was
this
actually-
episode.
I was actually, when I was first watching it, the first time I ever watched it, I was actually quite distressed for him that he was, because once you've
Well, it's
changed,
a beautiful love story between
it
him
is
and
him and
his
his wife,
and that
and
she's aware of what's happening, even though she's
Yeah.
not fully consciously aware.
well, yeah, and he turns into that,
Hmm.
and then
He's supposed to land at the UN
yes,
during a summit,
yeah,
and basically all the world leaders would see this and realize that there is a far greater threat,
yes,
and that is from beyond space.
Mhm.
Sort of what we're being told at the moment.
that's going to happen now.
That's going to happen, that we need to actually, consider this.
Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
living in an Outer Limits episode? Joseph
Quite
Stefano,
possibly we
come back and
are.
talk to us.
But you know what? Again, I'm going to say that I've been hearing these stories that, the threats were, communism, rogue states, this, that, and the other.
Mm.
And then eventually the last great threat was going to be UFOs
Yeah.
that was going to unite everybody. And they kept saying that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. And it's like, well, here we are. That's what they are doing. Now, all of a sudden, after 70 odd years of denying from Roswell that they reported on, that they said they had captured a flying saucer, then retracted and tried to cover it up. And they've been denying it ever since then. We've been here. I heard stories in the 70s that the government the governments of the world were going to say that there is these UFOs are now a threat, and that we have to start, we're going to have to start fighting them because, I don't know, communism's gone, and, rogue states are gone, and terrorists are gone, and,
I think you're recanting the words there in a really sort of fractured editorial way of Werner von Braun's assistant that came forward years ago to state that she was in on a meeting of that,
right?
And that's what was occurring.
That was being
and they said that there was.
No, there was some woman that was her name.
Carol.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's it.
Fairchild.
No.
Well, who's the Fairchild?
Are you thinking
chick?
of Morgan Fairchild now?
No, I'm not thinking of Morgan Fairchild.
Okay,
There was some Fairchild woman.
You are creating so much noise in this episode tonight and confusion. You need to go to bed. You're half asleep.
I'm fine. I'm not asleep. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we now?
Anyway, we were just looking at a bit of pop culture there from the astounding elements.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that we didn't do, and it's coming up really soon, Aspasia,
Hang on,
is SquatchCon.
Stop.
No, we're done.
Are you ready to uncover the mysteries of Bigfoot? Join us for SquatchCon Idaho 2023. This year, we're bringing the magic directly to your screen, or join us in person. Witness the world premiere of the enhanced Paul Freeman Bigfoot footage. Doug Hychek discovered a secret within this enhanced video you'll have to see to believe. Hear from an all-star panel of Bigfoot experts like Dr. Jeffrey Meldrum, Cliff Barackman, Brian King-Sharp, and Michael Freeman. But that's not all. Get exclusive online bonuses such as Bigfoot-themed wallpapers, a Bigfoot coloring book, an interactive Bigfoot quiz, Squatch Nut Field Guide, get a copy of the Freeman Bigfoot Files ebook, and more. Whether you attend in person or watch it live online, you'll be part of an unforgettable experience. Don't miss out on this unique opportunity. Secure your spot today. SquatchCon Idaho 2023. Step into the unknown.
That's the only way I could really stop you then, was by putting up our promo for SquatchCon, which will be online 26th of August. We need to all get online and watch that, really. So
you're going to do something. This is...
Well, don't get angry with me, for heaven's sake.
Stop.
Banners? Yeah, I've got it under control. Look at that look on your face. All right, let's go to this. The Twilight Zone.
Okay.
This was a series you absolutely love. You were ready to murder me on air there. I think we should do this episode again. It's too honest. It's too real.
Done now.
The state you're in tonight.
So the Twilight Zone episodes, what are the memorable ones that...
Well, what are the memorable ones for you?
Wow.
I know The Form of Things Unknown is the most memorable for me.
That's not Twilight Zone. That's
the Outer Limits. Actually, I'm slipping there. What am I thinking?
Okay, so Twilight Zone for me, the memorable ones, of course, was the monsters.
Due on Maple Street, which is actually a really pertinent episode in terms of what's happening now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because that's basically what you do is set the people amongst themselves.
That's right. Yep.
And you just sit back as the aliens watching from afar, and all hell breaks loose.
Because we're always so afraid, and we're so quick to throw people under the bus. Mind you, some people do need throwing under the bus.
I feel like I've been thrown under there tonight.
Run over and then backed up over them. But let's not go there.
They
do. They do. They're out there. I'm telling you.
Right.
So
Marty Manning and his orchestra, isn't that?
And the other one.
How about this album, though? This is the Exotica version of Twilight Zone. We've got a copy of that.
Yes, we do. It
is so beautiful.
It is. Yeah.
In this montage from, I think it's 2011, every single episode, there's an image taken from it. Yeah.
Wow. So the other one that really stuck with me in the humanity and, talking about what we really like is the one where the guy built his bomb shelter.
And you've forgotten the name of it.
Yeah, I have forgotten the name of it now. But what happens is, they end up going into the bomb shelter. Everybody was laughing at them before then, and then there's a need for them to go into the bomb shelter, and then everybody comes knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And then he's like, nah, I was telling you this was going to happen. Nobody would listen. And then the wife looks at him and she says, why would you really want to live in a world where we've just thrown our friends and neighbors out into the
wolves?
And now we're just going to be on our own. What's the point of living? What kind of a world are we going to live in?
I really love these covers of the Dell comics.
Yeah,
the Whitman
we've got
comics.
a few of those Dell comics.
They are
Twilight
so
Zones.
beautiful. I would love the original artwork. It's just astounding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Masterpieces in many ways.
But
nothing can do what that series
that kind
did.
of stuff's all gone now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, with this digital age, we're not getting that sort of, that kind of artwork anymore.
Don't you love this one? He cheated the artist out of his fee, and the paintings have come back to collect.
Wow.
I wish that would happen to all us low-rent artists, that our music had come back to collect.
What's that one?
Hello, Johnny baby. This is your dead Ramona calling from her tomb. Really, is it?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we have to do a bit of research into that phone calls from the dead.
So these would have been, what would they have been? Other stories? They wouldn't have been episodes.
They would have been stories maybe created even by the animators at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there were numerous, and we've got a couple of them, paperbacks and compendiums that were actually released primarily around that time of stories, lost stories that Rod Serling never got actually into episodes.
What are you looking for?
So don't worry, I've got it completely. This is what I'm looking for.
Hey, Untold Radio Network fans. Want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
I want that comic book. I mean, that colouring in book.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want anymore. You've you've knocked me to the ground for a 6 tonight.
Come on.
Aspasia, you really have.
No.
You're tired.
No, I'm not. I'm fine, actually. I'm really good. But
I don't know if we've done Peter Byrne, Claudia, and Scott a decency by being our crazy selves tonight. Really?
I think we have.
What are you laughing for?
No. Okay.
I mean, it is quite, we're dealing with tragedy here and suffering, and you've gone crazy. You just about attacked me on the episode.
The suffering is the people that are left behind, the people that have gone on to the next leg of their journey.
That's the point.
My
mother suffered for so long with Alzheimer's.
Yeah, the sadness is the people that are left behind and us not really knowing where they go, what happens to them. But I know for sure that there is.
Are you just wearing a nightie underneath that dressing gown tonight?
No, I'm wearing my clothes.
Oh, good.
I just put my dressing gown on because I was cold.
Yeah, it's very cold.
No, not in my nightie. I'm in my clothes, but I just threw my dressing gown
Well,
on.
I reckon we've just taken our credibility and thrown it completely to the wind tonight.
I think it was always in the wind.
Okay, night. Are we doing Untold Radio or are we doing This Naked World?
Well, it's a little bit. Yeah, we used to do a radio program called The Naked City.
And then we turned it into a podcast.
And then we went into the Naked World because we're doing
We've got
worldwide.
a Patreon site.
And now we're doing this, but we can't help. Well, I can't help Naked City slipping in there occasionally.
But sometimes you know what I feel like tonight.
Right.
I feel like those moments where things go slightly off the rails with Doug and Alex.
Well,
just,
we all
when you
have
love
our
someone.
moments. We all have our moments, And look, this one was supposed to be talking about you
Night
know,
of the
the
Kill.
predictive nature of television, and especially those anthology series that came out in the late 50s, early 60s in the States, which still resonate today.
But you know, in a way, I don't think we can divine this as these aspects tonight, like Architects of Fear and Night of the Kill. They aren't predictive; they're just documentation. But pop culture can be astoundingly predictive. And what about you know, Flight to Mars by Werner von Braun,
that's
independent scientist called Elon, written in the late 50s? You know, what is going on there?
Well, that's a little bit predictive. I mean, even back then, Elon was not even, well, was it a name? I don't know. Not in the general populace. It wasn't a very popular name. I'd never heard it before, Elon Musk.
I was looking at their the amount of money those people have, and that is the greatest obscenity on planet Earth.
You know,
that people can have that much wealth independently when people are starving and homeless and can't pay their medical bills. It's a shocker. Anyway,
there's something wrong with humanity.
I don't know
there
what
really
we've
is.
left you with tonight, ladies and gentlemen, but you have been with Katz
and Aspasia.
Aspasia, and we have just destroyed our episode of Untold Radio.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't destroyed. I think it's stopping. Look, the present thing on this, it always stuffs up for us somehow. I don't know what the problem is.
I think we need a more expansive laptop, maybe, so we can pull
it's got nothing to do with
the
a laptop. No, it's this program. This is something anyway. But I might actually get a little USB like power board.
You're
so
explaining that to our audience.
Well, I
now,
am. So
you?
maybe. But look, I'm going to put up a link to the
Night of the Kill.
To the night of the Kill for people to go and have a look at it themselves, and you know, in their own time.
And there is a Blu-ray edition of both seasons of Outer Limits.
There is.
And who's our incredible Tim and Donna Lucas. So Tim Lucas
from Video Watchdog
is extraordinary. His commentaries.
The commentary on those that is just brilliant.
It would make you and I run in fear of embarrassment for our illiteracy at times.
No, because everybody has at different levels, different knowledge, you know, and ours is in the gutter, but we still have some knowledge.
We're looking up at the stars.
Up at the stars, as opposed down
up the stars.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, step on Untold Radio. Go and check out Mysterious Library.
Yeah.
Talking Weird. The beautiful Tim and Dana. I mean, they're just the sweetest, most beautiful couple you can imagine.
Unlike us.
Jim Myers on Sasquatch Outpost. People are going to think that we've got onto medical something or other tonight. We're
not
a bit
me.
kooky. No,
not me.
You've never drunk in your life, have you?
This is just natural me on a high.
You are a Greek woman that's never drunk any.
Well, a long time ago. A couple
Your
of
father
drinks.
had a still underneath the house.
This is not for me.
Yeah.
Alcohol is not for me. I got an inkling of that very early on. I went, not going to go there.
You know, if this is you loosening up, I don't want to see you any looser. To tell you the truth, I really don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us.
Yes.
We'll put those links up, and please check out. I want to do this episode again.
You're not
going to let me out.
This is beautiful. I love it like this. This is organic, which means it's got a lot of stuff ups. But this is the way we're going out.
And
this
that's
week.
human frailty.
Absolutely.
And you know what? None of us should criticize human frailty because people
That's
get
what
on
makes
these
us human.
mediums, they edit, they cut, they use filters and stuff. We're falling to bits.
We're
in our
unexposed,
60s. Who knows?
Unplugged.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So let's treat this as the unplugged episode.
This is the unplugged.
All right.
Yeah. All right, kids. We will be back next week, and we have got some really, really interesting interviews lined up.
There was my script for tonight. I'm just going to pick it up and throw it. All right.
Yep. It's gone. All right.
You've been on Untold Radio. Thank you
have.
so much. One step beyond predictive pop culture. Bigfoot's TV debut in 1959 on the incredible John Newland, One Step Beyond.
We won't be doing another show like that.
Oh, yeah.